Hello guys, welcome to Scripteria. Today it's time to talk about a new plugin for Winter CMS called Snowflake. This is a first preview today, but I expect an official release to follow soon. What is Snowflake? That's actually hard to describe since it's neither a content manager nor a conventional backend plugin. It's more a development tool that builds a content manager for you. It's easy enough to understand once you see it in action, so let's get started. Have a quick look at my local setup here. On my machine I have a fresh installation of Winter with 2 plugins installed, the Winter Translate plugin and of course Snowflake itself. And for simplicity we just use the Winter demo page here, that's the one here, for our demonstration. I guess many of you have seen it before. I have my VS Code editor open, I have a terminal open, and I have the browser open with backend and the front end. Have a look at the backend now. As we can see, Snowflake is already up and running, so for curiosity, click on it and see what we get. Well, it tells us no Snowflake content found. That's fair enough. Let's change it. I go to CMS, Pages, and open the demo page, demonstration. Okay. You notice that I've removed some unnecessary markup here to make things simpler, and there's only 2 blocks left. The top one, the Jumbotron, is the hero section, which is the gray top section here, and the second one is the overview content. Now you can see that the hero section, the Jumbotron, is using a content block. We don't want to use content blocks anymore, we want to use Snowflake. Let's get rid of it. And the content block had 2 things in it, and the first one was a h1 tag. So let's add our new h1 tag here. Now it starts to get interesting, because I want to manage this headline content within Snowflake from now on. To do so, I simply add a twig tag. So add the curly braces for a twig tag. And for the twig variable name, I choose hero underscore headline. Headline. Makes sense to me because it's the headline of the hero section, at least for me. And this variable name is also called a Snowflake key within Snowflake. But that alone is not good enough. We need to add some additional information. And this is done by a twig filter. And this filter is the SF Snowflake. So this filter takes parameters, can take 2 parameters. The first is the type, we will see what this is, and the second one is the description. Right, so the type. What are we actually using here? A very simple headline. There is not a lot of formatting required. A simple text input field will do the job. So we choose the type of text here. And for the description is optional. You can leave it out, but you always need to specify a type. But I want to add a description this time as an orientation help for my site editors, so I call this headline of the hero section. Okay, it looks good to me. I save it and have a look at Snowflake again. And oops, there's already something different. We can see it says home now. Home is actually the base file name of the demo homepage. And we have our hero headline. And we have a simple text input field for the content. And the content of the headline was the demo. So we call it the Snowflake demo this time. Save it and close it. For curiosity, does it already show up? No, it doesn't. That's because we've been missing out one important step. We go to our layout, and the layout this page is using is the default. And within this layout I need to add a component, and the component is of course Snowflake. I save it, have a look again. Great. So you can see Snowflake has some sort of synchronization mechanism going on in the background that gets triggered whenever a page or a layout is saved. So we are up and running. Well, many of you, including myself, prefer to work from the local code editor. So let's do it from now on. I switch over to my VS Code on the left side, and you can see I opened Home HTML, which is the page we're interested in. Give some more space now. Okay, let's say we wanted to change or to control the background color of the hero section. So how to do this? I add a style attribute, background color, and I add a snowflake key. Hero background. Makes sense to me. Add our snowflake filter, and this time we use the type of color. I won't add a description here, it will work without it. So have a look, does it look right? Yes, I save it. But now, since we are no longer working in the Winter CMS backend, saving of my code didn't trigger the sync mechanism. But we do have another way of syncing it with a terminal command. So php artisan snowflake sync, enter. And now we refresh and we have our hero background. And when I click on it, we got a nice color picker. So let me choose a color. Nice blue would do. Okay, save and close. Refresh the page, and here we go. What if we wanted to add an image, for example? Let's try it. I add another div here, make it container, and I want to center it, text center, right. And now add the image. We add our snowflake key, in this case hero image. Add the snowflake filter, and as the type I choose, you guess it, image. Great. Leave it this way, save it and sync it. Now I go to the backend, refresh, and I have the hero image. And now I can actually choose an image, and for the alt attribute we add some text, save and close, and refresh again. And here we have our image. But how can we actually get the alt attribute, because we can't reuse this variable name hero image because it's already taken. And the way of doing it is simple twig tag, and I call it hero image, same name as the path, and I add a suffix of alt, underscore alt. And this should do the trick. Let me mess up the path here. So now it can't find the image anymore because I messed it up, and it says some text. So it's working. Great. Now, what options do we have to manage content like this, where we usually want to allow some degrees of freedom to our site editors for their personal formatting? Have a look. First, let me copy this here, and I also want to have my image back. Here we are. Right. I remove this and I add my twig tags, and this time it's not the hero section, it's the overview, and I call this overview body. So there are some options, but usually we probably would pick one of two. And the first one is the rich editor. Okay, save this, sync it, and now go back to my plugin, and I have overview body with rich editor. And this is the famous rich editor, which is quite similar to WordPress. You've all have seen it or something like it before. Personally, I prefer this way, markdown. I think for non-technical people it's easier to use the markdown editor than the rich text editor, and there are less chances that they mess up anything by accident. So this is my personal choice, but it's up to you. And to change it to markdown, I need to sync again and refresh it, and now we have the markdown editor. In my backend, I do have the option, when I go to settings, CMS Snowflake, to set it to the split mode, which then looks like this. Right. So let me paste this text here and change it a little bit. Usually Winter is a combination of a page layout and page, and we don't want to use partials and content blocks if we don't have to in Snowflake. And Snowflake content, or leave the rest as it is. And to prove that it's working in markdown mode, I can make it bold, Snowflake for example, and refresh it, and sure, we get Snowflake content, and it's rendered as markdown content and it's parsed. So when you use markdown in Snowflake, you don't have to add the MD filter, MD, which normally is used in Winter CMS to render markdown content. It's automatically done by Snowflake. But what about translations? At the moment, I go to Settings, Translate, Manage Languages. I have only one language here, it's English. So, make it a little smaller here. Let me create another language. And I choose Deutsch. Deutsch. Stop laughing. And we want to have it enabled. So I have Deutsch now. And to have the language picker, make it a little smaller, yes. English and Deutsch. That's great. Go to Snowflake, take the hero headline, and now we do have the option to translate it to Deutsch. Das Snowflake Demo. Save and close. And go to English. We go to Deutsch. Great. Well, that's about it for now. There are some more types that are supported by Snowflake, but I wanted to make this short introduction about the concept of it. I hope you liked it. And if you're interested in more, I put a link to the GitHub repo. Here you can read through the documentation, or you can play around with it, whatever you like. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Bye bye.